Hello, welcome back everybody. Let's have a look at XRP, a bit more of a closer look, similar to the one we did yesterday, but yesterday was a bit more of a bit more of an uncovering of what's been going on these last few years and why I'm actually getting pretty bullish on XRP, which is not a very popular statement among many in the crypto market. XRP's got a very bad name for itself, and I can understand why, but then just to lighten the load, to make it seem as it's not all as bad as you think, I think this year is going to be pretty good for XRP, because the reason it would appear, the reason why it was so bad last year, is because what we've seen now is that we've been consolidating ever since the parabolic top of 2017 and 18. So we've been basically in a downwards trend since then, consolidating from that giant move. And if you were to look at where XRP was in 2016 and where it was at the beginning of 2018, I mean, it was a much bigger mover than Bitcoin. When we're talking about something which was basically a penny, it was 1 cent at some point in 2016, and then it made its way all the way up to $3 and $3.50, I believe it was, at its all-time high. So basically, what I'm looking at now is a trend which has basically been down ever since that period. So we've been rejected on this descending trend. So a bit rambly there. Obviously, I'm always really tired. You know that on this channel, I'm always tired. But if we can close above here this week, it would confirm the start of what I would consider to be a true bull trend with XRP, which could mean that we were going to be making extremely big moves throughout this year and next, much bigger than anyone ever expected. All those people who were very skeptical over XRP, that was including myself, I was always very skeptical over XRP. But the chart kind of speaks for itself, and we have a change of behaviour here. So let's have a look now on the lower time frames and see what it's got to offer. So at the moment, all these moving averages are beginning to cross over each other, making a nice rainbow spread, a very bullish kind of spread that we've got here on the daily chart. In fact, it's gone extremely bullish since we broke out of this trend line. You can see on this daily candle here where we launched from it, this is the descending trend that we've got mapped down here. It's a very rough estimate, but generally speaking, this is obviously a big deal for XRP. Breaking above it made it go bullish. So from the bottom of that trend line, and this is just a very brief estimate, we launched away, breaking above it, and we made a 22%, maybe 23%, give or take, move, breaking above the trend line. So it looks like it's got plenty of power left in it, and we've also got a golden cross incoming on the daily. That should take place within about a week, about 7 days or so. This time next week, it should have created that golden cross, pushing us even higher. So that'll be up into the 40s and maybe at the upper 40 cent area, just as a result of that golden cross and the fact that we've broken out this bullish trend. So one thing I'll show you is that I'll show you what trends are like after consolidation periods, and we've all been trading Bitcoin, I assume, this most of last year. So I'll show you something. Okay, so Bitcoin did its parabolic move of last year, and then it had a descending trend which it was stuck beneath. So it was rejected here, broke above it briefly there, but then closed beneath it, as you can see here, and rejected here, and here. And then when we finally did break away above it, it confirmed a bull trend, which is what we've got now. It's confirmed that bull trend. We kind of saw that coming. When we broke out of here, it was a very good, a high probability, should I say, of a bull trend confirming, which is basically what happened. And this is what's happened with XRP. We've broken out of this descending trend, which we've been in not for 6 to 8 months, which is what this Bitcoin one was in. This was the 6 to 8 month downtrend, which had significance on it. This has been a 2-year downtrend that we've been stuck beneath. And what's happening now is that we're breaking above it, signifying the start of a bull trend with XRP. It's different now, okay? It's been doing one thing for 2 years, basically going down. Now it's not going to be doing that anymore. It's going to be going up, okay? So just bear that in mind. The trend lines, you know, they often mean something, and I'm holding a lot of weight on this one. I know there's going to be a lot of people skeptical about it, especially the majority of the people who follow me on this channel probably generally don't look at XRP because there's so many other coins that we do look at that make significant gains and have made us the vast majority of our money, including small cap coins like Matic, for instance. We love stuff like that. So this is kind of going against the grain here, but I'm all in, really. When I say all in, I'm not saying I'm all in. But most of my money's in Ethereum and Binance Coin and Bitcoin. Well, I do have at this point now quite a hefty long going on with a significant amount not to be sniffed at of XRP. So I'm going to be riding this one. I expect now for maybe even a couple of weeks to months to accumulate as much as I can, because now I do believe that over the next 2 years XRP is going to be very different to how it was last year, because we've changed this trend. Let's have a look on the Satoshi pairing. So what we see here is that we're actually not as bullish as we are on its tether pairing. The tether pairing looks pretty good, really, when you're looking at it on the daily. On the sats, it's not looking as great, but that's no big deal. That's no problem. We had a cross here for the. This is where we had it here. That's the Ichimoku Cloud cross on the daily, which is still a decent cross to show that we're going to have continuation from this area here. And that was a very indecisive wick, a spinning top wick almost, which basically we consolidated down from. But this is where we're going to be having continuation from. And it looks as though, like I say, with everything that I've told you now and everything that I'm looking at, I would consider this to have continuation at this point now. So hodling XRP wouldn't be a bad idea, even though I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. It's not a bad idea actually to get involved at this level, because we've got our cross as of just over a week ago. Yes, we've had a pump now, a relatively sizable pump, but we're going to have continuation most likely at this level now for at least a few months. But I would expect, generally speaking, a couple of years from now, we would probably be looking to do ourselves a 10, maybe even 20 or more X on XRP. That sounds ridiculous, I know. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. It is XRP, but like I say, I'm not bearish on it anymore because of this chart and what we see on this chart on the weekly. And obviously on the daily. I mean, look at it. I mean, it speaks for itself. So the change behaviour's kicked in. We've not yet got our golden cross on the daily, and we're quite far away from it on the daily on the SAT level. We're being rejected here, first of all, on the Satoshi 200 EMA, which is to be expected. This would always cause a rejection point when anything comes up close to it. So since our death cross, we've just died. Now everything's converging back together again now, and we're being rejected on our first attempt as of yesterday, pulled down beneath it. It might even happen again today, getting pulled down beneath it, but the fact is, if we close above here, even today on Friday, moving into the weekend, we are going to get continuation, because closing above a 200 EMA is what all these altcoins have been doing recently. Once you've closed above there, then you really, basically, that's your turbo boost, really, to start proving yourself that you have gone bullish. Let's see if I can get another chart as an example, just to show you. Let's have a look at Ethereum, which is my main holding, and Ethereum has been doing this also. In fact, I don't really generally look at Ethereum on Satoshis, but we'll have a quick look and see what the sats look like, and see if it's actually made that cross yet, or it's getting close to that golden cross. I know it's got a golden cross on the tether pairing. So yeah, so this is what we expect. So at first attempt, we get brought down beneath it. Second attempt, this is where XRP is now. We're looking to close above it. Once you've got a close above it, then you get launched. Turbo power. This is what I'm talking about. So I mean, XRP and Ethereum are very different. So we'll measure it from this one to be conservative over it. So we launched above that. We got a 26% move above that, and we've not even got our golden cross on the sats. When you see the golden cross take place on the tether pairing, the golden cross took place here. We'll measure that one out. Golden cross took place around this level here, so we'll measure it out here, and we've got a 32% return. 32% move after the golden cross on the daily. So neither of these things have happened yet with XRP. They're going to happen, should I say? I mean, it would be hard to imagine it not happening. So we're going to get our golden cross, and we've got our Ichimoku Cloud baseline conversion line cross. We're being rejected as of yesterday underneath the 200 EMA on the sats level, and it looks like we may be even closing it today above there, but definitely over the next week we will surely find our way above there and we will close, which basically means all the big moves are yet to happen. I know, and we've already had big moves. So I'm saying now to you now that I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but the big moves with XRP are yet to happen. This is like I say, it's a mirror image of the majority of altcoins, apart from a few very valuable things to bear in mind. A consolidation of any asset for 2 years, which has had pumps and retraces and pumps and retraces, but basically at the end of last year it found a brand new low. It went very low, went down to around 17 cents, which is lower than many people thought it was going to do, and at that point then it pumped. And it's going to continue to pump from now on. This is the end of the bear market for XRP, which has not trended with the rest of the market. It's done its own thing, and it makes a lot of sense now why XRP didn't do much last year as a massive underperformer, because it was still in a bear trend that took twice as long as Bitcoin to consolidate from. But it's a different asset with different fundamentals, a different circulating supply, a different use case, different everything. And so that stands to reason that it would have a different kind of chart, which is what it's got. So that difference in chart is playing out now. We're looking to make big, bold moves. Don't have any specific targets other than the obvious, which would be breaking above 50 cent would go bullish, and then, to be honest with you, I would expect to see $1 by the end of this year without any problem whatsoever. $1 XRP shouldn't be a problem at all, and I'm kind of predicting around about a $10 XRP at this rate, because what we're really be talking about is moves similar to the way it did prior, between 2017 to 2018, where it basically, it did a 10x at the end, but prior to that, it made close to 100x. So I'm not saying it's going to do 100x, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does a 20 or a 30x even from the price that it's at right now. So that's my take on it. So I'd leave it with you there, to be honest with you. I appreciate you joining into this channel, and I would advise you to take a fresh look at XRP yourself. There's a big XRP army out there that are all pro XRP, and to be honest with you, a lot of them are quite abusive if you slag it off. And I would say that there's a lot of haters out there that are also equally abusive if you big it up. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't when you start to make any kind of prediction on XRP. But I'm telling you now, and obviously, it's going to take time for my analysis to come true, because generally, I'm talking long term here, but the chart speaks for itself. Very simple and plain to understand. Consolidation over a 2-year period has broken out, and now we are not consolidating anymore. Now we are beginning, and we are at the beginning of a confirmed bull trend, different to anything we saw last year. So I think this is where the real power is going to be, to be honest with you. I think the power is going to be in XRP. So I'll look forward to the hateful comments, and I hope you have a nice evening, and thanks for watching, everybody. Take it easy. See you later.